Hello and welcome to the third Jobs in Focus that I've been running as a Member of Parliament for Kingswood. Now renamed it sort of the Kingswood Jobscast, and we've had previous episodes that have looked at the Kickstart scheme, and now today we're going to be focusing on the care sector. I think one lesson that the pandemic has demonstrated the increased need for care services, both in terms of care homes, but also residential care as well. And thankfully, there are a number of vacancies in the local area for those who might be looking for work either now or in the near future. And it's great today to be joined by Jade, who's the branch manager for Alina Homecare, and also Nick French, who's the recruitment manager for St Monica's Trust. And both of those speakers are going to give a small presentation discussing the nature of their work in two separate settings, both in terms of home care, but also in terms of care homes providers. And so I'm delighted that they've been able to join us today. We've also potentially got Kelly Gingle from the Network Care and Home, but she's been able to properly join us yet. So she may or may not join us later on during the session. But to start with, I think, could I pass over to you, Jade, to discuss what opportunities there are at Alina Homecare for the future, but maybe also to give a sort of broader perspective on the care sector and working within it before I then hand over to Nick. So Jade, over to you.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for inviting me today. So as you said, I'm the manager for the Alina Homecare in Kingswood, the Forest Road office. We offer quite a range of home care services, so that's for people that live in their own homes rather than in a care home setting. So this could be tasks from sort of getting them up in the morning, washes, laundry, it could be social and community support, which obviously at the moment is a little bit limited, but it is something that we do offer. Things like medication, hoisting support for different disabilities. We also offer a live-in service, so if somebody wants 24-hour care or needs 24-hour care, wants to stay living in their own home, then we do have that option too. So in terms of caring for our elderly members of the community during lockdown, I think a lot of families felt sort of worry and sometimes a bit of guilt about possibly not being able to visit their families as they would have done before. Obviously wanting to keep the risks down, wanting to keep them safe and themselves safe. So that's kind of where we stepped in a lot of the time. So a lot of our clients joined us sort of in the thick of it really, where they weren't able to see their families as often and they still needed their shopping doing, still needed somebody to help them with their medication support and things like that. So our carers are obviously well equipped to keep everyone safe and keep the risks down. We've had some really good feedback from clients themselves that have joined us since the lockdown as well, and it's really nice to share that feedback with the team because it gives them a nice boost, a morale boost, that they're doing a great job and that the families do appreciate the work they're doing. I think there will always be quite a need for carers. I think people are living longer, healthier lives and they're wanting to live home a bit longer. And I do think it's a privilege to look after the elderly members of our community, and you get a lot of job satisfaction from that. So in terms of job opportunities at Alina Homecare, I think, Nick, you'll probably agree, at the beginning of lockdown, I think everyone felt like it could have gone either way really with recruitment. We definitely found that people that were out of work, that in jobs that weren't essential, were kind of joining, dipping their toe in, sort of thinking, could I be a carer? Is this the sort of thing I want to do? So we had a few people join us that had never done care before, maybe have only looked after family members themselves before. But really, I always say it's the attitude that gets you far. It's not necessarily your experience. So anyone is welcome to sort of join the team. During the lockdown, we definitely had our sort of key worker badges loudly and proudly on display. It's really nice hearing sort of like the claps for carers and also the discounts that businesses were putting on, sort of supermarkets and discounts for the key workers as well. So everyone felt quite grateful for that and a lot of a sense of purpose really. We've at Alina, we're quite a supportive company to work for, I think. So we've got competitive rates of pay, fantastic online training and ongoing compliance support. We do shadowing shifts and supervisions. We've also got a rewards scheme, so anyone that joins us will have access to that. That can be things from discounts in shops and restaurants, different activities. We've also just launched something called the Health and Wellbeing Hub, and that's kind of like a counselling service as well. So it's really, I think, in these times, in these strange and uncertain times, it's a really nice tool to have, where if somebody just needs to offload about what they're going through at the moment, and if they are struggling with the measures that are in place, or just in general how this year has been going, it's a really good tool to have. So we have Alina Homecare itself was established in 2013. We've got branches all over the middle and south of England. Our Kingswood branch here has been about since December last year, and our Bristol North team opened in May last year. So we are quite new to Bristol, and we're always looking for carers to join our team. So we always say, like I said, that experience is what makes you a good carer, really. That your attitude over experience makes you a good carer. So we're looking for just compassionate people that really want to just meet and look after the people in our society that need it. And I can foresee quite a big drive coming up over the winter months, where home care is going to be needed more and more, where there might be families that have sort of settled again with feeling more comfortable visiting their family members, but maybe now see that they need that little bit of extra help that they might not have needed before. So yeah, there would always be care work, and we'd always be really grateful for anyone to join our team. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jade. And while I do that, I've got a couple of questions, but I'll come back to those a bit later.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that presentation. And what I'm going to do now is hand over to Nick French, the recruitment manager for St Monica's Trust, to give his perspective on working at St Monica's, what opportunities there might be for the future, and to encourage individuals watching this to maybe sort of think about applying.
Excellent, thank you, Chris. Thank you for inviting me today. I really do appreciate it. First of all, I'm just going to pick up on what Jade said about it's the right kind of people. You know, we can train people. We can train people in the skills that they need. What people need essentially is that caring. You know, that kindness. You know, kindness is what's most important to us. And if we've got that role, then we can build on that, and we can develop that, and we can train on that. But people have also got to really want to do this. You know, this is not easy work. People have got to really want to work in this industry for the right reasons. You know, it's not something you could take on just as a, you know, just dip your toe in the water and think, oh, you know, I think I'll be that good at that, I'll give that a go. You've got to really want to do that. And likewise, we will take on people that don't necessarily have experience, and we will train them, providing they can demonstrate to us that they really want to do this. Okay. I work for St Monica Trust. St Monica Trust, we are a retirement village and care home provider. We are on the edge of the Downs. We have 5 sites, 2 in Westbury-on-Trym, 1 in Keynsham, 1 in North Somerset, and 1 in Bedminster. We have a mixture of care homes and retirement villages. 5 sites across the whole trust. We employ 1,200. We have about 1,200 residents in total, and we've also got about 1,600 staff. That's about 1,200 people on permanent contracts and about another 400 bank workers, which is something I'm going to tell you a little bit more later. But we've also got on top of that about an extra 300 volunteers as well to support our residents, and that can be anything from, you know, a companionship meeting for half an hour a week up to, you know, taking people out for trips, etc. Or that was the case pre-COVID, I should say. We continue to be busy across all of our care homes and retirement villages. We are very much a resident-focused organisation. You know, if we were to ask any member of our staff, anybody across the trust, what lies at the heart of what we do, and everybody would say that it's our residents, whether or not that's from the estates team, our gardeners, our care staff, our caterers, our housekeeping. Everybody would say to you that our residents are at the heart of what we do. We are continuing to recruit. We have a number of care roles. We have a very clear and concise programme for to manage people's careers. People start with us as a care worker. They can move into a senior care worker role. We support the training nurse associate program as well, and then it's on to sort of RN, deputy manager, and then into manager. So there's that very clear avenue for people to take it if that is what people want. But we also appreciate that people like to come in, they'd like to do a job, and that's fine. They don't necessarily want to do that, okay? As well as the care side of things, we have a number of catering staff, we have housekeeping staff, we have porters, we have concierges in some of our sites. Anything that's going to help the lives of our residents. We also have a number of administrators across the board as well. Now, at the beginning of lockdown, we brought in a number of new positions, which we called helping hands. And those were temporary bank workers. We advertised it originally for sort of 6 to 8 weeks because, you know, at the beginning of this, we didn't know how long things were going to last. And we put out generic adverts saying, you know, if you'd like to come work with us, could be anything from, you know, delivering food to helping with care homes, or could we sit with our residents, could be any number of roles. Over 5 weeks, I think we recruited 174 people just to bring in to work alongside our current staff. Not to replace our current staff, to work alongside, because we didn't know what was going to happen in terms of people not being able to work. So we put in that additional resource. And this is very apt and very well timed because we are just starting this program again. So as of this afternoon, I'm going to be recruiting. We're going to aim to another 10 to 15 per home. And again, along the same lines of care, support with catering, support with hospitality, support with housekeeping, and also some junior administration. So if anybody's interested in any of that type of role, or they find themselves, you know, this is an opportunity to try something if you haven't done it before, please do go onto our websites. The jobs will be live as of this afternoon or Wednesday. People will need to go online and will need to apply online. And just to reiterate again, as what Jade said, what is most important is that people are kind and that people are caring. We can train the rest, okay? You don't have to have experience in this role, but if there's something is of interest, please do go online, have a look at our adverts and apply, and we'll be very, very happy to talk to you.
Excellent. Well, that's fantastic news. That's about between 50 and 75 new roles that you'll be looking to fill.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what the numbers are going to be, but we're speaking to all of our managers at the moment to see what sort of resource they feel they're going to need, and we're targeting around 12 to 15 per site at the moment, so probably around the sort of 60-ish, I would guess.
Okay, great. Well, I hope you don't mind if I kick off with a couple of questions. I guess if someone was interested in applying for a role that came up in the care sector in either of your organisations, what should they expect in terms of hours? Is there any sort of flexibility for those who may have other family commitments? Is it sort of in just full-time roles or that you're looking for, or are there part-time opportunities? And I guess also, I guess this particularly for Jade with Homecare, what does a sort of typical day look like? How many clients might you be sort of seeing in a particular day, and how is it sort of planned for the individual who's providing the care?
Mm-hmm. Shall I start, Nick?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So in terms of hours, it really is very flexible, especially with us. We're quite a new branch to Bristol. So we're starting off building our client base now. It's a case of you let us know really what you can do. The more availability, the better, obviously, because it means that we can have you out meeting more clients. But if you have other commitments where you can only work until sort of 2 p.m, that'll be fine, and you can start in the morning, finish at sort of lunchtime. We're in a lucky position now where we can offer very flexible roles. So it could be a 0 hour if you don't want to commit to anything, but you know that you'll be available in a couple of weeks' time or week, that sort of thing. We do offer part-time contracts as well. So if you are looking for stability and you need a sort of minimum amount of hours, we can sort of, with a wide availability, then we can accommodate that as well. And then a typical day, I guess, really, it's hard to imagine really what a typical day is, or how to describe it rather, because like I say, we're quite small. So I think a lot of other agencies might have people there's a set runs and it's very straightforward. They go from A to B to C to D. At the moment we've got some gaps really. That means that we have people going out in the mornings, meeting clients, a couple in the morning, maybe a couple at lunchtime and a couple in the afternoon, a couple in the evening. So it's hard to say really what a typical day is at the moment, but everybody's lovely.
And like we tend to within the care homes, the hours are fairly set, to be honest, because we need to try and keep it fair for everybody, and we need to make sure that the level of cover is correct at all times. But saying that, there are extra shifts now and again where we can be a bit more flexible, particularly with regards to things like our twilight shifts or early shifts, the time when people need most support from us. As in terms of a day in the life, I think every single day is different. It'd be very difficult to say, but I do know that it is an interesting environment. No 2 days are the same, and that's because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis when we're dealing with people. So there is a lot of variety, and dare I say, quite a lot of excitement that goes on as well.
Definitely.
And in terms of, you both mentioned opportunities for training, and Jade, you mentioned sort of online training as well. What does that look like, and how long does it sort of take to apply and get and achieve a relevant qualification? It'd be great to tell listeners sort of what they could expect when it comes to that training, whether it's initial training, but then also sort of future continuous professional development.
So with us, we do a 3-day training course. So you'll be on, it's 9 till 5 sort of thing. So you'll be on very similar to this, on a Microsoft Teams call where you'll join, and there might be sort of 8 other people in there with the trainer. So we've tried to make it feel as much as a face-to-face training as it used to be before lockdown as possible. So you'll do training on all the mandatory subjects. You'll also start your care certificate that week as well. So you'll be given a workbook which you can complete, and you have 12 weeks. It can be extended obviously if needed, but you have 12 weeks to finish it. And we would support the candidates along with that. They don't have to finish that before they start work. So if they want to do that alongside their shadowing shifts and when they start working themselves. So we tend to have the 3 days training. Obviously we wait for everything to come back, DBS and reference checks. And then we get them out shadowing. So that'll be where they work alongside an existing carer, where they go out and meet clients that they might potentially be working with ongoing. And then once everything's ready to go, they'll be out doing the shifts on their own, and we're obviously there all the time on call for support if they need us at any time. And then future training, so we're doing sort of 6 monthly and annually refresher training. So depending on the sort of subjects that need covering, we make sure that everybody's compliant and booked in before it does come out of compliance.
Sounds very sorry. Sounds.
I was just going to say as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention the. We also offer MVQs here. So if somebody's interested in doing their MVQs as well as their care certificate, then we can do the level 2s or level 3s here as well.
It's not a lot I can add to that, to be honest. to you, Jade, sounds very similar. We have 4 days induction where we cover the moving and handling, fire and safety. People move on to the care certificate. We do an extra day, an extra module for people working within dementia. But on top of that, we have a number of apprentices across the trust as well, doing level 2 and level 3. I think we've got 24 apprenticeships across the trust, mostly in care at the moment, and it's something that we very support. We support the TNA program as well, and it's very much done on a case by case basis. So one of our members of staff comes to us and said, look, we'd like to find out more about dementia, for example, then we will find the course to tailor to them. But we are trying very much as we can to move things online as well, and our training team have been doing a marvellous job of making that happen, from induction all the way through to dementia products, etc. It's phenomenal. And the stuff that's coming out, the work which is being done by online training developer is just incredible. It's going to change everything.
Could I ask about, say, individuals looking to apply, do they have to live within a certain geographic radius? Is there a sort of preference? I guess, so Nick, you've got 5 sites either in Westbury-on-Trym or the Downs or in Keynsham, and Jade, obviously you sort of mentioned sort of based in Kingswood. Is there a preference? I mean, as long as people can sort of...
As long as it's reasonable for people to feel they can travel, the onus is on the individual to be able to make it. If they're traveling 20, 30 miles a day, then I would say, probably not. And if people have got to get 2 or 3 buses, bearing in mind shifts can start at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. and not finish till, 9:30, 10 p.m. And then it's about, we need to look at the safety considerations around that. But the individual, that we do tend to leave it down to the individual as long as it's reasonable.
Similar really with the home care. So we cover Kingswood areas and surrounding areas, so up to sort of Longwell Green, Wick. We also cover Keynsham, South Bristol as well, so Whitchurch, Hengrove, Stockwood, those sort of areas too. So we try and match the clients with the carers really. Again, because we're quite small, we're lucky we can sort of say like, right, this client I know will really enjoy this type of personality. So we try and recruit in that area, find somebody, interview them, and then ideally have them set with that client then. So it's quite bespoke, which we really like to do as well.
And am I right in thinking, obviously Nick, you mentioned that sort of staff can take public transport to work, but with Jade, with home care, you will need access to a car and
in the future we're hoping that it's not going to be a requirement to have a car, because we will be in a position where we have runs, so it might be that somebody could walk and they'll have sort of a certain patch that they will cover. But at the moment our clients are quite dotted about, so really we do need drivers that can travel from A to B. We wouldn't expect anybody to drive more than say 15 minutes between their calls, any further than that. So that's how we're doing at the moment.
And you mentioned obviously one of the most sort of the key credential you're looking for is kindness. Mm-hmm. Are there any particular sort of age ranges of applicants you're also keen to explore? Can anyone apply regardless of age, over 18, or are you looking for also male carers as well as female carers? Is there sort of any groups that you're particularly keen to look to recruit from?
Anyone really, because like you say, it sounds cheesy, but really the attitude is the thing we look for. So anyone over 18 can apply, up to any age really. That would be, we would like to say, we like to match them to the clients that we'll be introducing them to. So if somebody wants a companionship package and it really suits an older carer, we set them up with that, and they do really well there. We've got younger staff as well that are happy to go out and do sort of more complex and sort of full-on roles as well. So and male carers as well. We don't have any at the moment, but we are open to male carers. So some clients might have a preference, which means that we would have to sort of, again, keep it quite bespoke to the client and their preferences. But we've got clients now that say, oh yeah, I've had male carers before and I don't mind them at all, it'd be great. So yeah, quite open there.
Okay. And Nick, would you...
Yeah, exactly. We are open to anybody to applying. Excuse me. I do like to see that some people have had some experience of dealing with older people. Doesn't necessarily mean to be having worked with older people or have within families, or have had those relationships. So it just gives people a bit of a better understanding to begin with. But as I say, the key skill is how that kindness, that compassion, that empathy, and we can train the skills.
Excellent. Well, I mean, I think that's sort of been a really comprehensive introduction into the world of care. If there's any sort of last words you'd like to say, it'd be great to hear from you. And Jade, in terms of opportunities, I just wanted to ask, I mean, Nick's spoken about the roles that will be going up online for St Monica's Trust across the 5 sites today. What are opportunities are there currently in terms of vacancies for yourself at Alina Homecare? And if you'd like to wrap up as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of opportunities, we have like the care workers that would be sort of going out and about and meeting the clients. We have live-in care roles as well, so that might be covering breaks for the living carers, or if they're looking for a long-term package as well, to be their living carer. We have office-based roles, so like I say, we're quite new at the moment, but in not the very distant future we will have a field care supervisor role. We have something called an ambassador role as well, which is, similar to a senior role, where when a new member of staff joins, that ambassador will guide the new carer along in the first few weeks and months. Just a bit of an extra helping hand, really. There is us at the office as well, but it's really nice to have somebody out in the field providing that support too. And you can apply on our website or through Indeed as well. We're on different job sites as well, so it's quite straightforward to apply to.
Excellent. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Nick, are there any final words you'd like to say as well?
Absolutely the same. Jade, I think we've got a bit of a double act going here. You know, anybody who wishes to apply, please do go online. All our jobs are posted and on there. We do accept, we only accept applications online at this point, but please do go and have a look. And there's phone numbers on there. If you wish to speak to anybody, then please do give us a call as well.
Excellent. Well, Jade, Nick, thank you so much for joining this Kingswood Jobscast, focusing on the care sector today. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get Kelly on the call, but I think what's been talked about today has given a really good sort of grounding and exploration into working in the care sector, and what a fantastic opportunity that can bring for individuals, and how rewarding it can be. And the great thing is there are vacancies available. So you've been watching this, do pursue all avenues to look at those jobs that are available. But thank you very much, and look forward to joining you with the next Kingswood Jobscast. Goodbye.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know.